Tonight, Christina Carswell hosts an all-new episode of The Lounge. The following program may contain mature material some viewers may not find suitable. Viewer discretion is advised.
It's The Lounge with Christina Carswell. Tonight, Christina welcomes Alex, also known as Axel, from the channel Swathed, Sarah from the channel Lyra Kylaren, and Sean, a professional QA video game tester. And now, here's your host, Christina Carswell!
Sup guys, welcome back to The Lounge. I'm Christina, I have Axel with me.
Hello.
I have Sarah.
Yo.
And I have Sean.
No!
Today, we're getting into the deep shit.
Yeah.
YouTube has kind of exploded over the last
YouTube's
while.
dying! Run!
YouTube's not dying.
Panic! Start looting the internet! Wait, how do we loot the internet?
You do a 5
Download all the shit.
Napster! Napster's gonna make a resurgence! Like, Lucifer himself is gonna come out of my screen. Like, YouTube's dead! What are we gonna do?
The Pirate Bay will make a great return on its
Oh
fine
my
vessel.
god, I wish. I wish Pirate Bay would come back.
Well, I mean, hey, if the doomsday sayers, you know, about YouTube are right, nobody fully knows yet. But if the YouTube doomsayers are right, then this video might not even air.
No. Yeah, it's true. Or it would be demonetized.
No, or just, you know, Scott will move it to a different platform.
Isn't there something about, you know, the world ending in, like, the next month or so again?
Oh, again for the third
There's
time
another one?
in the past 5 years?
Yeah, there's another one. I'm gonna go check my calendar.
You have it written? Axel, I think we need to talk.
No, it's really just there to remind me when to laugh, as they're saying.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Our mathematician made the mistake again.
Again. Just
that's
one
using
mistake,
math
though.
eyes. Calculating it out
That's
again.
Steve.
Let's
Why is
see.
this suddenly Eastern European guy named Steve?
Yes. And I am Jesse. That's my bad Eastern European accent. Nondescript Eastern European.
Okay, so supposedly the world was supposed to end in July this year.
That's right. And apparently in August 2017.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, the world is predicted to end in 2017. Wow.
Can you
2017
speak today?
thanks to total solar eclipse hitting America and the UK. That's right.
Oh,
Because of a solar eclipse, the world will end.
Uh-huh.
wow.
Woo!
Oh, it's the new Mayan thing. They're like,
No, the Mayan calendar ran out in 2012.
yeah, I know.
Alright? This is just whatever some new crackpot thinking that the world is gonna end. Whether it's some religious nut or it's some, like, ancient calendar we found that we don't understand how it fully works, so we're gonna calculate it as it runs out on this exact date.
There's a cult called the Sword of God that's saying July 1st, 2017. So, you know, New Year's Day, we're all gonna die.
I want to make my own cult. Man, these cults have, like, bitchin' names now. Before they were, like, weird things like Christianity and...
It's true. True story.
You know, like, there's that, and I just want to make, like, can I just make, like, the Spatula of Lucifer? This is the most, like, random, like, cult ever.
I don't know.
Like
you
the
can probably
Pastafarian,
get,
Yeah, don't,
the Pastafarians.
don't,
Yeah.
no, see, Pastafarianism is just a tongue-in-cheek joke about religion.
Yeah, I know,
I
but
want to
it's
create
made.
a cult. I want to create a cult called the Cult of Steve,
Okay.
and it's just gonna be the
I want
spatula,
to hear you out.
not the Sword of God. It's gonna be the spatula of Steve.
Okay.
About one day, Steve Buscemi made a grilled cheese so hot that the universe was created.
Oh, okay.
And Steve Buscemi's current iteration of his being on life is actually a metaphysical representation of the spirit of Steve.
But how does it end?
And and I'm gonna have one tenement. Don't be a dick. Done. That's it. That's like my one commandment. Don't be a dick.
Axel has a very good point. How does it end?
Doesn't.
You have no doomsday.
Well,
No.
that's just boring.
Yeah,
No.
that's a little anticlimactic.
Because
Doomsday
here's the
cult,
twist. Here's the twist. Doomsday already happened.
Oh.
Ooh.
When Steve
This is
Buscemi
a rebirth in the
cheese?
world of Steve.
Was that the burning of one side of the grilled cheese?
Yes.
One is sunny side and one is black.
And the great no.
In the great. Oh shit! I forgot to grill cheese on the pan.
I didn't put enough butter.
God.
Okay, we're after that tangent, we're gonna wheel it back a little bit back to YouTube and its policy changes, or not really
Policy
changes,
didn't
but
actually change, though. That's the thing.
Terms of service didn't change. Advertiser policy did change. So policy did change, but not terms of service like everyone else is, or a lot of people are freaking out.
yeah, it's just it wasn't public before.
It was public, just no one looked at it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's what I mean. Is like it was released, but it's like not. They didn't like bells and whistle it. Like, hey, look at this. They're just like, don't look at this. Just shove it under the fucking door.
Even worse. They've been doing it for months previously and never really notified the people that they were doing it to. Instead, once the big YouTubers, everyone started looking at it and went, "Wait a minute, this has
Also
been
known
happening
as
for
Philly
months."
D.
Yeah.
It's not just Philly D.
Yeah, but
I
he
mean-
basically shined a fucking spotlight on it.
Well, yeah, because
And
he's
then it
very
fucking blew up.
ingrained in the YouTube culture.
Yeah, apparently everyone, like all these news agencies, are citing him as like big name YouTuber or expert YouTuber or all this nonsense stuff, and he's just like, what the hell?
Yeah, he went from casual YouTuber or like a YouTube sensation to like a fucking messiah in like the span of like a couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was kind of hilarious. This is his reaction. He's like, what the hell is going on? What the fuck?
Okay, so I'm reading an article right now actually about it. YouTube has pulled about $4 billion in revenues in 2014 from ads.
Yeah.
So I don't
Well,
like this
okay.
hurts YouTube too because like if they pull
but here's
ads
the thing.
from 1 second.
Yeah,
If they pull ads from people, they don't get paid as much either because they also take a profit from the ads. So
Not
Are they
true.
pulling off the
Not
ads, or are they
true.
keeping the money to themselves.
No, they're pulling out the ads. This entire issue is ad companies have their own guidelines for TV shows that they will not run ads on. This is the same process that they do for network TV and radio. They go to the network provider. In this case, let's just pretend YouTube is this, right? This is the same as if ads worked on Netflix, right? But Netflix is a subscription-based, right?
Right.
So there's two sides to this. Well, there's a bunch of sides to this story, but there's two sides that I'm starting to realize are very interesting. One, this is just what happens when large corporations decide to, change policy that does a giant blanket scale. Because they this could either be Funhouse brought this up on their latest Dude Soup podcast, which is a really good point that I believe Lawrence made, which was you now have these corporations which blanket, term say like, oh, you can't talk about these things, right? Like he brings up the fact that Philly D mentioned that H3H3 had probably figured out that it might have been due to the tags in people's videos where they're like, oh, this deals with rape, demonetize it, because it's not trying to censor rape, it's just saying that rape is a touchy subject. And I don't think Johnson & Johnson, a company that makes baby shampoo, wants to be on a video, their ad playing before someone talking about rape. However, does this affect how people talk about the news? Yes, because if you can't talk about touchy current event subjects, you're not talking about the news. People wonder how TV news got so garbage lately, and that's literally basically because, everything is so gentrified for mass consumption over the TV networks that suddenly, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, maybe because the internet is replacing TV, advertisers are like, no, we need to sanitize everything that we do on the internet. Because people are realizing this too with social media. You can't just go around posting all this bullshit because it'll eventually come back to bite you in the ass.
Oh, yeah.
You know, whether that's like nude photos that you're like, I only had it on my Instagram account, and then your account gets hacked and someone leaks all the photos. You know, people say like, yeah, that's an invasion of privacy, but at the same time, there's a modicum of risk assessment you have to do to yourself before you do shit online. You know, and advertising companies work the opposite way. They like to just sterilize everything. Yes, there are some advertisers who, you know, have a touchy thing that they're trying to advertise themselves, and they go, whatever, we can be on a video that's about rape, like, that's fine. But there are a lot of quote-unquote family-friendly, Adam brings this up on the Dude Soup podcast, he's like, everything is family-friendly, you know, but the internet isn't family-friendly. The internet is a platform that people have now started using as, you know, I'm a product of the internet. I didn't grow up on necessarily TV, as opposed to like my older cousins and even or my older family members who grew up in the 70s and 80s when TV was the only thing. But now the internet is the thing. Companies around the world are trying to dictate how we use the internet. And this is going to be
It's been going on for a while.
The whole fight for net neutrality.
No, net neutrality is a whole different thing, and that's net neutrality was designed to combat people capitalizing on the internet so that it remained even for everybody. Now we're starting to see more and more cases of big corporations doing self-censorship. When a certain individual, you know, bleeps out swear words that they made in a video, people go, oh, they're just self-censoring. You know, some people are saying, well, why don't you just say the word in the first place? Or if you have to beep it out, don't say the word at all kind of thing. It's like, no, some people beep it out for comedic reasons. Some people beep it out because, you know, they're used to hearing a beep because of TV, right? It's the same TV beep, you know? I don't care if someone beeps out swear words. I swear all the fucking time, and everyone who watches this show knows it. So, but when I hear someone, like, being swear words, you know, if it's done in a comedic way, I laugh about it. I don't care what the words that they're saying are. But some advertiser might.
So, here's something that kind of popped up recently on one of my feeds.
Okay.
A family member of mine noticed that, I think it's Old Navy, started introducing alternative names to some of their larger size clothing for children.
Okay.
Instead of calling it whatever it was that they were calling before, they're saying now, was it plus and husky? These are the words that they're using.
Yeah, but there's always been a husky brand already.
No,
yeah,
but there's
well,
already
it's not
been
brand, it's
already
size.
a definition of size. I was a husky kid.
Yeah.
Like, growing up, my mom
me,
called me husky all the time.
What jumps out to me is, like, these words don't bother me, and often I see them being used to describe people in books and everything else. It's just, it's something you look at, right? There's nothing negative about it as far as I'm concerned. And yet, this said family member took offense to it, got in her bandwagon with all of her girlfriends, and started writing up nasty letters to the company, tell them how bad they are. And I'm starting to wonder if the self-censorship of the man, the big company, is just to deal with these assholes.
Half of it is. It's the root problem of PC culture. Yeah. It's like it's all PC culture is meant to do is gentrify any form of expression or thought so that nobody is offended.
Yep.
But the problem with that is that the English language is the hardest version to fight political correctness, because the English language over the history of time has been readapted and adapted by whatever culture grew up in it and changes it for its own needs. And we have words that mean like 4 different things, and the meanings are interchangeable depending on the context. So,
yay, English.
Yeah, English is fucked up.
Also, it's changing every fucking year.
You know, but that's due to the fact is that the most active part of these politically correct things, they're basically just keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
That's all they are. They sit on their keyboard and they get professionally offended about things. And I'm considering making like my own YouTube essay video thing, but now I'm not because fucking YouTube shot themselves in the foot. Maybe I'll go release it on Vimeo. You know?
Yeah. You guys see the is it Vimeo or VidMe? Is that another one that
VidMe's another one that's popping up that's trying to like capitalize on anytime YouTube makes a fuck up.
Yeah.
Or copyright issues because they don't give a shit about copyright. But once you get as big as YouTube, everybody tries to care. Well, everybody tries to take down the head honcho.
Yeah.
And kind of bringing this back to the YouTube sphere, and a lot of people are like outcrying the demonetization, which fair enough. You know, if a video that you would normally put out would make you roughly about $1,000+ and all of a sudden it's only making 100, but your livelihood as the single creator of that video, you know, and not to mention a lot of the bigger name YouTubes that people don't realize, it's not just that one person anymore. PewDiePie has an editor. PewDiePie has his own like brand manager. Yeah, PewDiePie like Jacksepticeye has his own editor. Mark lives with his editors, and they're also his best friends.
Yeah,
you know, like, but you know, as once you get to a certain point, it becomes less of a singular guy making a channel. Like, yeah, that guy makes the content, but the group edits and cleans up the content,
standardizes it for the platform. Yeah.
Or for like the channel's kind of attitude, right? Like we're not seeing Scott anytime soon throw together like news video compilations of like the war in Burma or something like that. Like
please don't.
I really there's no longer a war in Burma.
He's giving us the cut it off sign.
Nope. You're not going there.
Anyways, the whole point is like it's just like it you know, but when you cover news and current events, sometimes that'll overlap. Like, you know, Philly D has like episodes that relate to whatever that Brock Turner rape case, which is just its own insanity.
I'm very happy that he has not dropped that.
You know, but like, you know, he talked about it, right? He obviously says himself, he's like, I don't have all the information to form like a full opinion, but here's my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
And, you know, he'll talk about whatever that YouTuber who everyone thought was dead, and then she came back, and then now she's like some weird like hippie trying to start her own cult, and like people calling her a goddess and all that shit.
Hey Sean, if you want to start a cult, you should go talk to her because she's doing pretty well.
I know, but anyways, like
just proclaim yourself the god. And
but being able to talk about that and being able to talk about whatever's on his mind is Philly D's platform. You know,
that's what he built his channel around.
Yeah, occasionally, you know, you don't see Markiplier who like swears just about as much as I do.
And family friendly. That's his shtick.
He's not family friendly though.
Sometimes he
substitutes a lot of it.
But that's just Mark in general. Sometimes he'll be, you know, off the handle. Sometimes he'll be respectful and kind of just fart jokes. You know. But, like, that's the issue, is where you start trying to police a free, creative platform. You know? We started to see this once major television networks started making YouTube channels.
That's true.
Then we started seeing the influx of copyright. That's been a big issue on YouTube in the past years. Yes, it's always been an issue for the copyright creators, but... You know, in the past two years, we've heard the talk about fair use and actual copyright laws and how they relate to certain videos. More often than not, you know, it's died down a bit because, you know, it's not a hot button topic anymore. Now this whole, like, demonetization of videos that a company deems inappropriate, you know, you start getting into the moral gray area of what is inappropriate, what is quote-unquote advertiser-friendly, what certain advertisers would actually declare as advertiser-friendly. Because, hell, if I, like, ever started like a fucking business that got big enough that I would advertise on YouTube, I wouldn't care. I'd be like, reach the biggest audience. Advertising is literally just about spreading our image as far as we can. I don't care if it's on a video of some ISIS guy getting his head blown off or some puppy falling down some stairs. I don't fucking care. Put it on every goddamn video, and it would be the most successful advertising company because I wouldn't give a fuck.
I don't know. Would it be
I don't know about that.
a commercial after watching an ISIS guy get blown up?
Well,
Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
I think there's a certain mindset with advertisers too, where they think that communities don't overlap. Like the people who watch lots and lots of porn don't necessarily watch like lots and lots of cartoons or whatever, and it's this segmentation in their minds.
But
which
I get
obviously
where
these
YouTube is
communities
coming
do.
from because you know look at the majority of content produced for YouTube that isn't relevant news shows, and it's mostly gaming. And it's mostly done. That's why they had to create YouTube Gaming, was to try and A, compete with Twitch, and B, give them their own space that they can make, you know, all the videos.
Stop flooding the fucking trending page.
However, there is a large majority of consumers on YouTube are like 5-year-old kids who, you know, their parents got them an iPad to keep them quiet, and all they can do is really just browse the YouTube app, so they're gonna watch videos about Minecraft, which is totally fine. Which is totally fine. However, I can understand, you know, some advertiser not wanting to, you know, advertise on videos because they're like, maybe kids will see this, right? So it's just like, you know, because not every video about fucking Minecraft is all just like, hey, I'm Timmy and this is my Minecraft video. It's just like, you know,
it's like 75% of the videos out there.
No, 75% of the videos are just like some guy who is like, or some teenager who just makes dick and fart jokes while playing Minecraft, which is a vast majority of the gaming universe. Anyways, we all make dick and fart jokes while gaming.
Let's be honest, Axel. Remember my Chode Palace? Like, we're all so guilty.
Hey, I got banned so many servers for digging underground, building an obsidian cube, and building the Reichstag in it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a thing.
And I did it on a server that had very clear defined, like, no hate speech laws, and I said, whoa, 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 I am not hate speech, this is just historical building.
This is art.
This is art.
Obviously. Obviously.
And then
Would you die for your art? Would you let your character die for that art? Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, so
like
we're
14
running
times
back
built.
there. Yeah, so it's not even just, well, maybe people don't want to see this particular ad here because children are watching this, but maybe more like, oh, well, children are watching this, so I want children-targeted ads there.
I don't know if I've ever seen a child-targeted ad.
Well, Lego.
Yeah, well, like anything like Lego or Marvel, technically Marvel is still like...
Then that...
Because they're owned by Disney now.
What you're saying, Axel, with the whole, like, I want this video... I don't think the advertising companies do that, but when you do something like... groups like Union for Gamers, because this will affect them too, because when you get partnered up with somebody other than YouTube, like one of those broadcasting unions, MCNs,
yeah, multiple channel networks,
yeah, they start selling the ad revenue for your videos specifically. Like if we were to get on for Union of Gamers, they sell all the advertising space directly to gaming companies.
Yeah, it's like Polaris. It's like Maker Network's starting to flounder on that, and that's affecting a lot of people. But you know, it's an issue that could be solved with a little bit of like effort on YouTube's part. But YouTube is so big that it's a ripple effect. They release a small policy change that only would really affect a handful of people. But they're turning out that the broad wording of said policy it's such a broad brush that like it's affecting more people than they realized.
So really the big problem I'm hearing from this is that YouTube has gotten so big, but they're still treating it like a small project, right? They need to start breaking it apart and applying specific legal rules and terms in smaller portions of their site so that they can better target it, better refine the practice.
Yeah.
That would be the smart thing to do, I think.
Yeah. It's just realizing that and trying to put it into practice. That's difficult, especially.
I'm no fucking professional, so please don't fucking crucify me. I'm just saying my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Don't hate me.
I am head honcho. I
Is it-
say is law.
Is it true what M3 was saying, where it seems to be targeting videos through the tags rather than through the actual content on the video?
Yes and no.
There hasn't been enough to really defend. Like, when H3 put out the video, like, I think, one sec, I'm subscribed to him, I'll just double check when he put out that video.
Well, Philly D talked about it, and there were some videos where, like, he talked to H3. I don't know his actual real name.
He put it out, it's Ethan.
Ethan? Okay,
yeah,
so basically those two talked, and Ethan, I think, told Phil that he's like, check your tags, and then, like, some things didn't add up.
Here's how it goes, because I've been following this ever since H3 put out his very first video, which was funny enough titled "Thank You YouTube," and that was put out a week ago. And then in that video, he was thanking YouTube for going back and remonetizing some of his videos when he complained about it, because he's like, holy shit, I actually talked to YouTube and they did something for once. And then 2 days later, made a video called "Why YouTube Doesn't Explain Anything."
Yes, I saw that one.
And it was him angrily yelling about why certain videos were demonetized in the first place, which he assumed was due to the tags, because he brought up Philly D's video about the Brock Turner rape case. Then he also brought up someone else dealing with depression, or like someone else's video dealing with depression and stuff like that. And no, like it was a suicide note video, or talking about suicide or something, and it had suicide in the tags. So he was like, maybe if you guys didn't put rape and suicide and murder in the tags, you know,
this wouldn't be affecting you.
This wouldn't affect you as much as you think. And then Philly D looked into it a little more and said, well, it's not really about the tags, because there's also an additional algorithm that also factors in the comments, the description of the video, the title, like the keywords in the title of the video.
There's more to it than just tags.
There's more to it than just tags.
So,
but
like,
Ethan was possibly right with heading somewhere on the tags, and now we're finding out about this whole policy change.
Yeah. So, if it factors in comments too, does that mean that somebody could write a big long comment of just fuck, and get your
That's
video
what we have. Like,
well, you could also have that.
I don't think. Yeah, because you can have the comment flagged and stuff like that. But it also doesn't take into account, like, if in the analyticals that YouTube has for taking down or demonetizing a video, if like the dislike ratio is apparently a factor, what's to stop people from making like a witch hunt mob and just disliking videos until they disappear? That's a form of suppression. That's a form of like free speech censorship.
Yeah, the metrics should be just used for personal reasons, not.
Well, they generally are. It's just the metrics aren't that well explained to a lot of people that don't spend hours understanding YouTube's giant legal jargon in their terms of service and their policies.
Yeah.
Because they take the Google route and they explain it in a very nice way that goes like, oh, that makes sense. But then you realize you're like, oh, wait, this has like a large ramification.
This is going to have like a big ramification, not only on smaller channels, but also like the news channels.
Well, the news channels are going to be hit. Like, no one knows what the fallout's going to be because it's just starting to pick up steam now. But
we need to keep an eye on it because this could go sideways at any point.
It could go sideways, but Lawrence brought up the fact on Dude Soup. He was like, this in no way takes the video off of YouTube.
No, but it just makes it so you can't get ad revenue from it.
Yeah, but there are, smaller content creators are also realizing that even though it might be harder to get the funds you need at the start, if you start a Patreon and you get enough Patreon supporters pitching in $5, you know, a month, you know, you get a couple hundred people. There you go. There's your rent paid. You can keep making the videos you want to make, and your rent is paid without having to deal with the advertising nonsense.
That's why we got a Patreon here and a Patreon. I have a Patreon on my channel.
And Patreon itself is gonna, like,
I think it's gonna blow up a little bit more. It's
gonna blow up a little bit more. Like, I've seen it grow from like basically a Kickstarter-esque thing to like this weird kind of like support, you know, network for people, and I was like, okay, it's cool, but what the issue is that this will affect the mid-range, kind of like slightly big YouTubers, like the people around quote-unquote like 500,000 plus, according to Google, is considered a large amount. You know, I don't know how you compare 500,000 to 42 million like PewDiePie, but like, if PewDiePie's in the top, well, he is the top, but like, you know, you take a look at Markiplier, who's at like, I think, what, 14 million now? Jack just hit 12. You know, Smosh is up there. Like, Philly D's at a couple million. You know, like big YouTubers. But you look at Philly D, he's been doing that for like how many years now? He's built SourceFed. He has other ways of going across it. Yeah, I really think
he's already mentioned that he will get paid no matter what.
Yeah, he's fine. You know, and some of the bigger YouTubers are easily can cover themselves. But, like, the mid-range ones who aren't signed to an MCN, because even then, like, I remember when MCNs were garbage and no one really wanted to sign with them because they were basically corrupt. But, you know, like...
Things change.
Yeah, things change, things happen. But, you know, you're going to get these mid-range YouTubers who all of a sudden, you know, all their videos are being demonetized just because they're a little bit crass. Or they deal with crass subjects, or they have dark humor like me, you know, like it's going to be a
too
weird.
Much, or
it's not just about the swearing too; it's about the content of what you're talking about. Which is
but like
mind-boggling thing to think about.
My question on this whole thing, though, is when it ventures into the whole gaming thing. What about people who play GTA, Grand Theft Auto? Or violent video games, will those qualify as not
technically
advertiser friendly, or
technically?
What if you're a gun company? Your gun company would advertise on them.
See,
do you want to kill people like this person in Grand Theft Auto? Come grab the Remington M6915 bolt action kabooey boom.
It's less even that. It's less even that. I mean, the gaming community and the gaming sphere, we have way different outlets than YouTube. You're going to start seeing a lot more Twitch subscribers. You're going to see Twitch explode if this happens because all the gamers might jump ship. If it affects them, we don't know. It could be just, you know, this could be a thing that, like, it doesn't seem to be hitting the gamer channels. It seems to be hitting the news channels. It seems to be hitting the, like, more on-topic
public as opposed
the vlog channels. Yeah. But what that means is that if those people suddenly start fading out of existence because they can't sustain their creation schedule to keep on top of making a video every month or a video every day, sometimes two for some of the creators, that means the big networks that have like the CNN YouTube channel, which is already all squeaky clean because
YouTube is basically just going to become a TV network.
It's going to become a TV network. But then all the individual creators are just going to jump ship somewhere else.
Yeah, and then all their fucking subscribers are gonna follow them because you subscribe because of their personality and the fact that you like watching their videos. If they're not on a certain platform, you're just gonna follow them to another platform.
Exactly. Exactly. And I mean, like, we've seen it time and time again of like different people. I mean, like, Rave from Rooster Teeth is probably like the best example. He quit Rooster Teeth, you know, and went to streaming full-time by himself, and then all of a sudden he's making like $10,000 a stream.
Oh, that's nice.
You know, it's nice for him. It's great for him.
Good job, dude. Good job.
It shows that when you have fans, they'll continue to support you as long as you keep doing your thing that they originally want, like they follow you for. You can mix it up, you can try different formulas, but as long as you're still you,
okay, I'm gonna TLDR this. YouTube's not going anywhere. It's changing. Things
They're
change in your life.
They're
The
shooting
community is
themselves in
changing
the
with it,
foot, in my opinion.
It's not gonna
They
go
do that a
down
lot.
like it's what the fuck is that?
It's not going to go down in flames. They're just
yeah.
shooting themselves in the foot, and they might limp for a little bit, but it'll
It's
heal
not
and they'll move on.
MySpace. It's not going to become a MySpace. It's not going to go into the dark corners and recessions of the internet.
That analogy doesn't work because MySpace was killed by Facebook. There is no competitor to YouTube.
Yet.
Fair enough.
And it's only a
It's
matter of
the
time.
internet.
Remind me in 5 years if it ever happens.
Point being, TLDR, shit's going down, things are changing, like everything else in our goddamn lives.
Yep. And we'll
YouTube
see
will
how
probably
it
stick around for a bit longer, so yay! It means we're gonna stick around for a bit longer, so optimism.
Yay!
Okay. That's all the time we got for today, so be sure to follow us on social media at TOONDISE on Facebook and with the hashtag ToonLounge on Twitter. And if you're a fan of ToonDice, like we talked about in this episode, please support us on Patreon at patreon.com/ToonDice. And on behalf of Axel, Sean, Sarah, and myself, Christina, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time, right here on the lounge.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.